Did you ever think about calling it Man Shop? Just because you've described it as a man shop a couple of times. I think it could work. If you ever want to rebrand or set up another one. Hello and welcome back to JobsWorth. This week you find us recording the intro in the hatch. I've moved away from my very comfortable sofa into this alien landscape where I feel almost compelled to do a Westlife style stand up and sing, which I won't torture you with. But my guest this week is Claire Jeavons, who is the founder and owner of 2 retail shops in Leigh, Store 33 and 110 Yards. Claire, by her own admission, had a pretty good idea of what she wanted to do when she was younger. It's very easy to hear Claire's story and kind of have a little bit of envy for people that have a clear direction of where they want to go, what path they want to take. But for Claire, it was redundancy from her role at IKEA, where she herself describes having found a family of sorts and really coming of age during that time. It was redundancy from there that forced her to start thinking about what was coming next. And really this seed of an idea that she'd always had to set up her own shop came to life. And 17 years later, both her stores are cemented in Leigh, and they're a core part of the community. So this was a really lovely conversation. It was great to give Claire a chance to celebrate what she's achieved over the last 17 years, and I hope she does more of it moving forward. But really hope you enjoy the episode. As always, if you've got feedback, please get involved with the comments. It is still my goal to make the podcast as interactive as possible. So let us know what you're thinking and stay tuned for next week. Claire,
yes,
we are going to start with the opening tradition on the podcast, so we're going to dive straight in. Mm-hmm. When you were younger, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I had a couple of passions.
Okay.
So it was always fashion. So kind of wanted to be a fashion designer, but very quickly realised that really wasn't the route that I was going to take. So I then decided that I wanted to be a window dresser.
Okay.
And that's what I trained to be.
Brilliant. And do you remember how old you were when you had fashion and then the evolution into window dressing?
I remember having the kind of twirly fashion drawing thing that you did when I was probably about 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And then I think I was about 14. Yeah, about 14 when I kind of looked a little bit deeper and I was like, no, actually, that's what I want to do. I want to make the windows look amazing.
Wow.
And that's the mission.
So that as a North Star for you happened quite early on.
Yeah.
So if you can remember fashion, design, and then window dressing.
Yep.
Was that, I can't imagine that as a very common conversation that people were having about like if I'd asked you or a group of your peers at 14, what do you want to be when you grew up? I can't imagine a lot of them were saying window dressing.
No,
so it's quite a specific part of retail and merchandising and all of that stuff,
I think
right?
retail has always been the passion.
Right.
So I've been worked in shops since I was tiny as such. Always had that support, always liked dressing and clothes myself. So that was like always my thing. And then I think I just kind of took that view of there's something different and I want to work in shops, but I don't necessarily want to kind of be serving people, be behind the counter, because I was quite shy. So it was kind of, that's maybe the route that I'll take. And going up to London, my mum used to take me up to London a lot to look at shops and look at the Christmas windows and things like that. So I think it was that ignited the passion.
Well, again, the follow-up question is always, did you have any inspiration around you when you were younger?
Yep.
So your mum was acting as an enabler, so to speak, to take you up into the city and see these shop and window displays. Was she in fashion or retail or anything like that?
No, not in retail at all. She was a brilliant artist, really always doing art clubs and always encouraging me with my art. So, I really enjoyed doing that kind of thing. So, and she did love shopping.
Well, there you go. It always helps. Sows the seed at a young age, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you remember any of the displays you would have seen as you were going into London at all?
I don't all I remember really was like liberties all the time, because there was always something moving in their windows. So there was always some kind of animation, like mice or, anything like that. And there was always a story to be told.
Right.
I think that was quite important for me.
Yeah, like that narrative and knowing that it's not just a window display.
No.
There's something deeper.
Something more.
Okay. So what led you to actually working in retail then? So you decide at 14, this is your first kind of draw towards doing this for a job.
Yep.
And then you start training at what kind of age? When did you do
Left
this?
school.
Okay.
So kind of got my Saturday job in a little shop in Hornchurch where I lived. Then kind of went on more jobs kind of in retail, I suppose. And then, left school, went to college and did a design display course,
Nice.
which was specifically for window dressing.
Does that still exist
Yes.
now? Okay.
But it's kind of a little bit wider now. I think there's more like visual merchandising involved in it and that kind of thing. And then you could move on. Once you'd finished that, it was like, right, now what are you going to do? Are you going to do set design? Are you going to do interior design? Or are you going out into the world of work?
And how was your experience of college?
I loved it.
Okay.
Hated school with a passion.
Okay. Tell me a bit more about that before we go into college then, because education always forms a part of these conversations, because I think it's so formative, or can be so formative, on what your perspective is when you do go out to work. So when you say you hated school with a passion, how did that manifest itself?
Junior school, infant school, junior school, I loved. Much smaller environment, I think, knowing what I was good at and being nurtured.
Nurtured and nurturing is the word I use to describe that. Junior, the primary
school,
primary education, I think, is a more nurturing environment.
Yeah, I think as soon as I went to senior school, I was fish out of water. Like I say, I was quite shy, and I was put into top set, but I was definitely kind of lower in the top set. So then always felt like the stupid one. Didn't really settle in school. Didn't really find my vibe. I was great at sport. So kind of escaped through that.
Right.
And then, just didn't really like being there.
It's I would say the majority of people we have on had a similar experience. Some people, like Charlie, at Do It Like a Mother, loved school, and she, by her own admission, just loved it. School loved her. Academic, like just perfect environment for her. But so many people we speak to, I think, have a similar experience to the one that you've just described. What changed in college? I would imagine it's because now you're doing something and studying an area you actually want to do.
I think so. It's the knowing that you're good at something. It's the moving through kind of a process. I'm great with a beginning, a middle and an end. School for me, just, going from class to class and things that I really wasn't that interested in. Exams filled me with dread. So going to college and doing something that I knew I was good at, and being taught more that I knew that I wanted to take on into my future. There was a purpose to it. Whereas school, I didn't feel like there was much purpose to that side of it.
It's really interesting. Again, that is a commonality between so many of the people we speak to, is that once you've got a direction to head in, you can muster movement and progress and all of the momentum that you need to go there. I mean, if you're fortunate enough to find something as well, it sounds, we speak to so many people, probably myself included, that still have no idea at the age approaching 40 of what the hell I want to be when I grow up. Yeah,
it's really weird. And when I speak to people and talking to people about coming on here and about that question, I was like, well, I knew what I wanted to be and I went to college and that's what I became. And yes, I've moved my way through retail, but it was definitely a start of my journey, and one that I hold really close to my heart of I wanted to do it and I achieved it. And then I've kind of meandered through from there.
Retail is quite broad, right?
Yes.
Because there's so many facets to it. But we were talking about fashion earlier. On your form that I ask everyone to get involved with before they come on, you were talking about fashion, interior design. Were those the two areas that you were most passionate about? Okay.
Absolutely. So mostly fashion. And then when I went through college, interior design was a big thing for me. When I started at House of Fraser, it was all about fashion. And then kind of dipped into like the homeware side of it and the interior side, and then moving into IKEA was like, that was then, wow, there you go, there's interiors for you if ever I've seen them. So that was then kind of the start of the interiors journey for me.
Okay, because I was going to talk to you about your time at IKEA, because that's where the next kind of transition point happened, and the birth of everything that you've gone on to do for the last 17 years as well. Can you tell me about how you ended up at IKEA?
I was at House of Fraser for, I think, I'm trying to think, probably about 5 years.
It turns a bit, this is your life at this stage.
Yeah.
I don't judge people on chronology.
Yeah, because I'm like, I have no idea.
A vague idea.
Yeah, kind of came out of college, didn't really have a job, started doing a little bit of window dressing in Lakeside with a friend, then took a Christmas job at House of Fraser, just on the shop floor, with the hope that I would be taken on. I was taken on permanently after Christmas, and then knew that I would work my way into the display team.
Okay.
Did that in a very small team. And then a manager there went on to IKEA, and then she said to me, you need to come here.
What was the perception of IKEA as a brand? When are we talking?
We are talking 1996.
Okay,
so it was relatively, well, not new in the UK, but certainly down in the south, we were just opening the Thurrock store.
Right.
That was...
I would imagine that time it's nowhere near as an established brand in the UK as it has now been, 20
No, I mean,
years
I'd
on.
never been to an IKEA.
Right.
So I was like, whoa, okay.
So what was the draw? Because House of Fraser, again, I'm thinking, especially at that time, maybe House of Fraser is seen as the more premium established brand, and you're going to IKEA that is this new. I'm just wondering what the perception of it was and what was the draw at that time. Was it could be as simple as I knew someone, I respected that person, and they asked me to go, or there was an opportunity
I think
there.
I was just really ambitious.
Okay.
At that point, I kind of always wanted to be top of my game, keep pushing. And it was a really small team within House of Fraser. And although I kind of went on and helped with other store builds and kind of things with that, I really wanted to move on a little bit more. So it was kind of just next challenge, let's go. Never wanted to sit on my laurels.
What did that path look like? Was it kind of set up for you? Did you have a clear route of what progression looked like, or were you forging your own path with that?
I think I was forging my own.
So it was some sort of desire in you that saw, okay, well, if I do this, I can step that way and then go up the ladder slightly.
Always kind of, I'll do 2 or 3 years there. I'll do 4 years there. I'll move on, and I'll always get to kind of, I need to get to the top.
Okay. And how much was that driven by, it could be a ratio, driven by money? And how much was that driven by the love of what you were doing? Or was it a combination?
I think it was a combination, because there wasn't much money in what I was doing.
Right.
So to kind of make the money, you had to get further up the ladder.
Yeah.
But I think it was a real passion for me, being so shy when I was younger, just trying to really forge a way of, I'm good at what I do, because I really needed that in my life. I needed to find that, you're good at that.
Did you have that coming from anywhere else in your life at all? I would imagine you've got peers at work that are supportive and would be saying positive things about the work you were doing.
I think so. I think there was a little bit of that. I think my dad always pushed me to be the best I could possibly be.
Yeah.
I think young, like I said, I was quite sporty. I used to run for the county, then had to quit through injury. So I think there was always that kind of a bit of journey that I needed to always achieve and finish.
Were you quite competitive as a kid? Or
Randomly,
as an adult?
No.
Okay.
And that's the weird thing. Competitive with myself.
Right.
But maybe not so much with other people. My
Yeah.
husband's tremendously competitive.
Okay.
Painfully so. So
you counterbalance each other.
I definitely take a back seat on that.
Okay. Yeah, I had to ask about the perception of IKEA going back to that point at the time, because I think it's changed even in recent years. The last 5 or 6 years with IKEA, it seems to, maybe it's strategically and through the marketing and the brand and the way it's evolved, But I still think back then it was so new. No one really knew how it was positioning itself.
Absolutely.
Was it a budget brand? Is it just everything as accessible as possible? Maybe questions around the quality of what they were bringing out.
It was so new at that point to actually want to spend money on your home, for it to be that accessible and to have things that were fashionable accessible to you. And yeah, it was kind of happening up north. And then all of a sudden, like we had the store in Wembley. That's the one that I went to kind of see what was going on and what it was about. And I was like, oh, okay, that's
Was
amazing.
that the flagship in the southeast, the Wembley one?
Yeah, that was the big store.
I remember when I used to be a scaffolder driving past that IKEA, and it is an absolute monster.
It is a monster of store, and
Crazy.
it got rebuilt and made bigger so many times. And I was so lucky to be part of that. Yeah. And I will say a few times, because you kind of went round in circles, and it was an amazing time.
Well, I wanted to bring IKEA up for two reasons. One, because it's from there that you transitioned into what you're doing now, and we'll go on to talk about that. But also because you said again on your form that you loved it.
Yeah.
You lived IKEA. There was something, and you can tell the way you're talking about it. You still hold a lot of love for that place. And
it was a real big kind of part of my journey in life. It's where I found my confidence.
Yeah.
It's where I met so many great friends, really great friends, and I kind of adapted. I really did kind of move my interests and the way that I worked in that zone. I then met Jamie as well. So obviously that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a really great time. I didn't go to university. So I suppose I kind of lived this real excitement. We travelled with work. We stayed in hotels Monday to Friday. We ate out at really great restaurants. We tried different things. It's where I changed, I think. It's where, I really became a different person.
So you started there in the late 90s?
96,
96, okay. Yeah, because you mentioned university. A few people we've had on mention or describe university as where they went to grow up.
Yeah.
And if you haven't had that experience, then maybe you'll find another environment where that happens, and it kind of...
Yeah, I feel like it was that.
I didn't know if that was too much of a stretch to say that, but different experiences and meeting different people and all of these things.
Definitely. Kind of, I started in the Thurrock store. We did the build up. We planned, somebody else had planned it, but we were taken on as a team. And, it was an amazing experience to be part of that. But I very quickly realised that I didn't want to just be in store. Right. I wanted to go and experience that again. And I wanted to experience store opening again. Right. So I kind of put myself very much in that, I'll do that. I'll go there. Yes, please, I'll go. And then you were kind of lent out at that point. Right. And then... I can't remember what year it was, they kind of made what they called an expansion team. Right. So that's when they took all of those people that they used to borrow the experience of and put them together and said, right, we're going to build a tremendous amount of stores and we're going to rebuild some stores, and we need all of the knowledge that you guys have got, and took us all on permanently. Wow. And we lived a completely different life. Right. We used to go to Peterborough, that's where our offices were. We'd do planning there, and then off you would go to the next site for however many weeks, months, and be in Nottingham or Manchester. But that validation, that credibility, you're seen as like your subject matter expert, right? Yeah. You turn up and they're like, oh, this person's been there since very early days. Yeah. They've seen what success looks like. Was that giving you what you needed? Yeah, right. It definitely was. It was kind of, I'd planned that. I'd got to that zone where I was planning. I was telling contractors how I wanted something to look, or I was doing it with a team, and then kind of moved on to the next step, which was when I was kind of part of the more organisational team, where I was helping the planners then to put their mark on things. Amazing, and to build. Yeah. So again, it gave you the validation, it gave you the career opportunities to progress, and money is part of that, and seniority and people looking up to you, and that's lifestyle, all wrapped up in it. Yeah, kind of just that. We used to come home every other weekend. That was it. We'd be in hotels, we'd be kind of travelling, we'd see great places. Yeah. All in the UK. We had opportunities to go abroad, but sometimes we took them, sometimes we didn't. But mainly kind of building in the UK, and really seeing different places and seeing different people and working with kind of people from different countries. Yeah. And that was, really nice. I think that makes a huge difference, if, especially earlier on in your career, if you can get access and experience working with different cultures, people whose
first language isn't English. Like all of these things are help shape and hone your skills for as you progress through life generally, but definitely through work. So I said, you can see how much love you've still got for it, but then 2007, 2008?
2008 it was.
Redundancy strikes.
Hit. Yes.
So for you and your husband, how does that feel at the time?
Heartbreaking.
Can you still remember how that feels? Right.
I think I was in a bit of a bubble anyway. We'd done our first, we built 2 stores at the same time, which we'd never done before. And we split the team. And Jamie was in Belfast and I was in Coventry. Like literally had been sent to Coventry, it felt like.
Right.
It wasn't a great experience, that one. And it was really weird. And we were planning our wedding. Right. And in the beginning of December, they pulled us all in and they said half the team's going, which was Jamie's half. So I was like, okay, cool. That's harsh. And we're getting married in however many weeks. We then got married end of December, went on honeymoon. And when we came back, they said, we're folding the rest of the team. So dread, I think, a little bit. And that kind of realisation, I remember being in the office and everyone's kind of talking about other project manager roles and I'm going to apply for this and I'm going to do that. And I kind of sat there and I was like, no, I don't want to reinvent myself again. I don't want to walk into another establishment and introduce myself as this is me, this is what I've done. I just had no energy for it.
Yeah, almost prove yourself in a slightly different environment, but really the same kind of structure, same type of organisation maybe.
Yeah, right. And I just couldn't see a route that I wanted to take. I just, there was nothing there.
I'm interested in how it impacts your relationship, right? You're newly married.
Yeah.
Your husband, what became your husband very quickly after his redundancy has been made redundant. You've come back to learn that you're also going to go through redundancy. Yeah. How do both of you going through that experience simultaneously, how does that impact your relationship? Because I was thinking if one person's doing it, you then you step up and you become the breadwinner and you become the support while they're going through that. But for you both to be going through that at the same time must be pretty tough.
Tough, but not unrealistic in the fact that I think in our roles that we were in IKEA, we were very much problem solvers. Okay. So anything that kind of got thrown at you, it was like, okay, there's a challenge. Right, okay. It was never a problem really. It was like, there's a challenge. Off you go and solve it. So I think at the beginning and for a few years, I think in the last few years of the projects, people kept saying to Jamie, you need to go out on your own. You need to be freelance. You could earn a lot more money doing what you do, like freelance back into IKEA. So there were always those little kind of, we'd like to do that, but we're not quite sure. So part of it was a new challenge to him. It was that kind of, right, now I've got the chance. I'm going to go out. I'm going to do what I do, but freelance back into IKEA. Yeah, so that was amazing. And then my side of it came quite easily because when I was finishing up, I'm just trying to think, when I was finishing up or when Jamie was just finishing up, a friend of mine owned Forget Me Not in Leigh. Okay. I'd worked with her at House Fraser and she said, I've had that business for 5 years, I'm going to fold it or I'd like to sell it on. And I was like, oh, if it was me, great. But for Jamie, no. So then when the call came in for me, I got straight on the phone to her and I was like, are you still selling that business? So that was my next challenge.
That was the birth of
that was it.
Of what then became Store 33.
Store 33, yeah.
That was going to be my next question because I think it sounds like both you and Jamie are pragmatists, right? You look at something as how do we solve this, which I think is fantastic. It's a real skill set to be able to frame something like that. Yeah. I would imagine still with all, again, this love and this connection that you've got with a brand, you're still going through your own kind of grief in a way. Yeah. What did it do when the redundancy came through? Did it do anything to your identity at all? Because again, we're talking about all of these things that you've achieved with one business over a certain amount of time. Did you? Because I think some people, when their job is made redundant, see it as I've been made redundant, and it's semantics, right? But the words mean something because it's your role that's made redundant and not you. But were you able to separate that at the time?
It was really difficult because I think I'd worked so hard to become kind of the specialist in my role, to be the person that people turn to for specific things. So all of a sudden you did just become that, almost an employee number that got wiped. And then, you know, things that you were very well known for many years, all of a sudden your name went down the list, and all of a sudden you weren't referred to anymore. And that was difficult. I used to find it hard going in to an IKEA store because I knew how it should look. And that was always my job, to say, that should be full, that shouldn't be there, that's not the right platform, you know. Then all of a sudden I didn't know the platforms. And once I didn't, I felt so much more relaxed and happier going in and being quite chill about it.
Liberating, right?
Yeah, but until then, until I had no knowledge, I was like, oh gosh, this is really hard, and would avoid it. Absolutely avoid it.
Yeah, I just wonder what that does to your sense of attachment to the job that you've obviously given a shit about for such a long time, and then it's your role that's made redundant. But I think it's very hard in the moment to be able to separate that and not take it as a personal
thing. Some of those builds were tough. Some of those builds, you were working a lot of hours. You were, as much as fun as it was living away from home, you were still away from your family and friends. So it was really quite a stab. And then you kind of get over it. You find the challenge. Now it's kind of, I can see the love that I had for it.
And you can see from the way you're speaking about it too, like it'd be very easy to feel resentment coming from you, but I don't get that impression at all, because it's led to so much stuff that you have achieved.
A lot more. And like I say, Jamie still literally works for IKEA. He contracts into IKEA, freelances. That's where his bread and butter is. And it's so interesting that he'll come home and he'll go, oh my God, the plans. We're still in the same situation. We've still got the same problems or the same challenges that we had at that time. It's a different business now. There was a wealth of knowledge when we were there, and they totally stole the knowledge from you and used it and abused it. And you were trained, and it was known very much as a cult at that point. But that's tremendously watered down now. And I see it, and I can I haven't got so much passion for it because I can see it's not the same business.
Well, it's nice to be detached from something too, isn't it? You've got distance, and even Jamie as a freelancer can have distance.
Yes.
And you're still dealing with stakeholders, but they're now your client rather than your boss. And that's a different dynamic.
There are still people there though that were there when we were there, and I'm like, oh my good God.
I can imagine
wow.
with any institution like that, there are so many people that I guess will be lifers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hello, I am back again this is a regular request now. If you are listening to this, then please follow the podcast, rate and review wherever you're listening. And if you're watching me on YouTube, you'll see this is a sincere request to please subscribe. Before you press stop, before you close your laptop, before you get off your phone, just hit the subscribe button. It's easy. Thank you so much. Cheers. So you've made this call to who was it that had Forget Me Not at the time?
So Debbie. Actually,
okay.
I didn't work with her. It was one of those, in the display world, like in a lot of worlds, it's very small. So as I left House of Fraser, she took my job. Okay. So then worked with my friends, who then she became a friend and an acquaintance. And then,
so you were in the orbit of each other as opposed to working directly.
Yeah, so we used to go into Forget Me Not and buy things when and if we were home. Loved the store. And so she had a baby and said, I can't do both or don't want to do both. So I was like, right, okay, let's do it.
How quickly after redundancy do you go to taking this on?
It took about 8 months. It took a while.
That doesn't sound like any time.
No.
I'm sure it felt like a lifetime at that time after having such a big period of work where you've been secure, you've got money coming in. But 8 months in the scheme of things to go from being made redundant to then setting up shop and starting something and taking the reins.
Literally. And taking over a shop that was already, established. Yeah. It was a business established. And that was, really weird She was great, took me on buying missions and, introduced me to everything, introduced me to everybody. And, but I remember opening that shop that day when it was mine and everybody in Leigh being like, who is she?
Yeah.
Where's she come from?
Debbie.
What have you done? Yeah. And it was a bit like I went straight back into shy zone. I was like, oh my God, I'm not part of anything anymore.
You're front and centre now, aren't you? The spotlight is on you. There's a lot to unpack in 17 years of running something, and we could go into everything, and I'm conscious that we've got other things to talk about that have happened along the way. But I just want to remark on 17 years of running a bricks and mortar retail business in Leigh-on-Sea. So I just think we need to give a round of applause for that, because honestly, it's incredible. And when I came into Store 33 to talk to you about coming on, I think at that point your arm had been twisted enough to do that. You said that things have been tougher in more recent years, and I think that's so apparent across retail, right? Especially bricks and mortar.
Yeah.
But 17 years, I hope you give yourself enough time to step back and think, oh my goodness,
I do.
Look at what I've achieved.
I really think about it sometimes. I go through life and don't think about it, and then all of a sudden I go, oh wow, it's an anniversary. Wow, it's 17 years. It's like that's really strange, but I still find a passion for it. I still feel like it's new. I still feel like I took over from Debbie last week. What? Sometimes it's just this constant something new to look at.
Well, it's like, it seems like you've tapped into a well of sorts, and you're still drawing enough out of it for it to keep you engaged and keep you focused and keep you working with purpose and meaning, which, again, I've worked in recruitment for 14 years. I have several conversations every day with people that are not fortunate enough to be in that position.
Yeah.
So I think it's incredible. What is the secret to 17 years?
Doing something you love.
Yeah.
I absolutely will say it all the time. Do a job, not because it's a job, do something that you love doing. And it does. There's always a challenge. There's always something new. And that's why I say within IKEA, I didn't want to just sit within the store. I wanted that next project, that next shop, because I just wanted to be is stimulated all of the time. And that's what I get all the time is, I'm constantly buying. It's like the next season's coming along. What is it? What are we doing? And then, because we buy quite far in advance.
Right.
So then there's what are your windows going to look like? I'm rubbish at that now, I will say.
Is it like a muscle that's kind of atrophied after a while? Do you just not, if you're not keeping that skill sharp, it drops off a little bit? Or are you being self-deprecating?
I think it's time for me. Okay. It's just, I say within IKEA, I'd lost my creative zone because I was then putting in other people's plans. When I came back, I then found my creative zone again, buying, making things look lovely, visual merchandising, doing the window. Having 2 children, running a business, a husband that works away a lot. Sometimes my brain hasn't got the space to go, that's what I want to put in the window. They always look lovely, but I might not theme them as much as I would like to. Yeah,
in your head, that if you had X amount more time, it could be something you'd walk away from and feel completely content.
Absolutely.
That's where it needs to be.
Yeah.
But that's running a business too, is accepting that you can't do everything.
Yep, and it's accepting, Jamie will say to me, the things that you notice, the customer will never notice. Yeah. They won't notice that one little thing out of place, or, that bit's not painted, or you wanted that chair to look slightly differently. It's in your head. So I will constantly criticise what I do.
But you've got to have that drive, haven't you, to try and hit a certain level of quality, because that's what your brand is connected with now, and it's attached to. Yeah. So to let that go completely is, it will lead to things happening and creeping in that don't necessarily represent what you want to have built along the way.
We spent many years with the shop really not looking, it was still called Forget-Me-Not for such a long time. Yeah. And the interior it didn't match the exterior. And I used to walk up and think, oh my God, that's not Forget-Me-Not. It's it's moved. And it wasn't until we changed the name. I think I had it about 5 years before I really had the guts, because I thought people would think I'd gone bust, would think it had changed. I didn't want that, people having a perception that something had gone wrong. Yeah. So I was like, no. And then when we did change the name, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is now my brand. This is what it is. But it still felt like it wasn't my business for a while.
Okay.
It took a long time for it to feel like me and mine.
We're going to go on to talk about the other store that you
Yep.
opened up, because I think maybe that's where you found something that you can create that was 100% yours from day one.
Absolutely.
But no spoilers. Again, a really telling thing that you put on your form is that you love what you do, and it doesn't feel like work.
No.
And it's just such a fortunate position.
It
But
really
you've worked your ass off
is.
to get there. You've put. It doesn't come without sacrifice, and I wanted to ask you what the sacrifice is. There must have been sacrifice along the way, and what have they looked like for you as you've gone through?
I don't know really. I don't know if there has been sacrifice.
You don't frame it like a
No.
sacrifice. Okay.
No,
well, that's
and I
again,
think
great.
working for myself is, painful sometimes. But at the same time, I get all of the rewards and all of the benefits of maybe spending some time with my children that other people don't get to. And maybe having the time to do other things. But then again, sometimes the buck stops with me and I don't get to do those things. Hard.
It is hard, right? Because you also became a mum when you
Yeah.
when you started a business. So when did that, in the chronology of the shop, the first shop?
Yeah.
When did that come about?
Much quicker than I expected.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so Ned's now 15.
Right.
So yeah, within kind of 2 years,
Yeah.
we had a baby, and I was like, oh my good God, this isn't going to change what happens. I am not going to be that person that goes to mum club and messy play, because I'm not that way inclined at all. I can take this baby to work with me. And that's what I did.
Nice.
I took him to work with me, and he sat in the corner in a pram or on the bouncy chair, and people used to come in and goo and, fuss him and then go out. And I'd be like, shite, you didn't buy anything.
Just come in to see the baby.
Yeah, literally. They would come in and it would be lovely, and they'd be like, oh my God. And it was the first time I really felt like I had to let people in. My barriers had to come down a little bit.
Okay.
People then wanted to know a little bit more about you. I had customers come in with gifts for me, and I was like, you don't really know me. I've had this baby. Why do you think that you know me? But lovely that you do. But yeah, used to come in and, and then it was a real tough time.
Well, it's quite a vulnerable time, right?
Yeah.
You're also running a business. You've got all of the things that come with having a baby,
Yeah.
and the stresses that come with that. Whether
Yeah.
that's lack of sleep or just stressing, are you being a good enough parent?
Yes.
It's quite a telling thing, though. Was that your reaction when people were coming to you? Because some people might have taken the stance straight away. Well, that's a lovely thing, and I know that's where you are as well. But you've said about being shy, and you've said about maybe being a bit withdrawn to come and share a bit more about your personal life too.
Yeah.
But did you feel like that was encroaching? There was a bit of a barrier there.
At the beginning, yes.
Yeah, at the beginning.
Yeah,
Okay.
at the beginning, I really did. And I've got a friend, and when she met me, she went, wow, you've got some barriers. And I was like, yeah, I have actually. Like when she actually started to break them down. And she didn't have any barriers, so we've shared them now. She's got some.
Okay,
she needed
right.
a few.
Yeah, you've known each other long enough to uncover those along the way.
You've got
Yeah.
a few of mine, and you've broken down like some of them.
Yeah.
It's fine, but yeah, I've got barriers.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's not for me to sit here and therapize you. It's just very interesting. Again, the mindset, because I think so much of what makes Leigh now is the people behind the brands that are showing so much more about themselves now. And it's definitely not a prerequisite. You don't have to do that.
No.
But I think especially it's connection, right? And people are coming into your shop and feeling connected to you, that they want to say congratulations on having a baby.
Yeah.
So those barriers are being eroded almost whether you like it or not, because you have to be front of house.
You've got no choice at that point.
What do you do? Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want your gifts.
No, but it is really kind of quite weird that people all of a sudden have got an opinion on you, and they're quite happy to share it sometimes as well. Like Jimbo says, it's sometimes you've got to take that and you go, oh my good God, you can hear people outside your shop say things about your shop. That's hard. Or you can hear people say things about you, and it's like, that's hard.
Talk about, you used the word stabs earlier. It's like death by 1,000 cuts, isn't it? Like over time, those little micro moments do build up. So I think to have barriers or a bit of protection is self-preservation.
Yeah, and then those people I mean, we've gone totally off kilter, but those people, like when people like steal things from you or anything like that, that again is something, it's another barrier that you're kind of like, oh, I can't take that personally.
Completely. Because I have to say, when you said that, it's something, I'll be really honest, I never give any thought to. But as a owner of that, of your shop, of your space, to know that someone has done that, it must be so hard not to take it as an affront.
It's really hard. And I remember kind of the first Christmas Eve that we worked and somebody took something, and it was only me and Jamie working at that point. Yeah. And he was like, they're professional. They know what they're doing. Just, take it as it is, and it's not against you. But it did feel like a stab to the heart, and it still does now, because those 4 walls are my 4 walls. All of that product in there has been paid for by me. So it's it's all mine. When people walk in that shop and I say hello to them, it's because they're in my space. Yeah. When they say goodbye, it's because they're leaving my space. Yeah. It's still my zone. It's
an extension of you, right?
It absolutely is.
And especially when you're raising, in part, your children in that
my
space,
children
it becomes
an
even stronger extension
my family
of
have worked in there. Everybody's supported it. My friends are in there all of the time. It really is. And one of the hardest things for me now is splitting myself between 2 of them.
Right. What a lovely segue. Because I was just going to say, in 2019, with all of this talk of loving what you do, but also the reality of running a business, peaks and troughs, people coming in, stealing stuff, having to work and balance motherhood and running a business. You decided 2019 to open another one.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, because this is where I was kind of leading to earlier. I think this was your chance to say, this is my space. Yeah. This is the one that I can start from scratch. So talk me through that process.
I think I'd got to a point where I was coasting on Store 33. I was definitely kind of like, oh yeah, it's good. I run a business and it's quite nice. But my brain started to just delve a little bit deeper and kind of eyes open, I think. And I used to sell few bits of men's gift. People used to come into the shop, I need a man gift. And I was like, okay, we've got this and this, but we couldn't ever give it a real proper space.
Right.
And me being the perfectionist that I am, I was like, get rid of that lot, because if I can't do it properly, I'm not doing it at all. So yeah, my eyes were open, and we used to have coffee in Birdwood on the Leigh Road every morning. After we'd kind of got the kids to school, a little group of us would then go for coffee, then go off to work. And I remember sitting and looking at what is now Cult Coffee and thinking, oh, that would be a good zone. And I'd never voiced it to anybody before. And my 2 friends were sat with me and they were like, what's going through your brain? And I was like, well, I've just got this idea. And they were like, spill it. So I was like, I feel like there needs to be a man shop in Leigh. There's a gap in the market. There's definitely something missing. And they were like, oh my God. And that was it, dog with bone. They were on at me constantly. But I knew that unit wasn't quite right. It went very quickly. And then it took me a couple of years, because I kept looking at units and going, no, not right. And then the unit that it's in now came up, and then I stepped away from it again. And I said,
what forced that?
I don't know, actually. Okay. And I said to Jay, that's it. I said, I'm putting it to bed for a while. There's something wrong and it doesn't feel like it's the right time. So I literally kind of shut it down. And then I think it was it might have been 2 years later, I suddenly started to search again, and the unit came up again. And I was like, right, that's it. It's time. Let's go and look.
Do you believe in signs?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah. I also believe that I fill my life with a lot of busyness at one time and love a challenge.
Right.
So I remember saying to my dad, I've just signed on this shop, and I've also just put my house up for sale, and I've bought another house within like days.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
And we moved within 6 weeks.
Wow.
And we moved into that house. I was like, oh wow, this is weird. It felt like a holiday home. I was like, I can't believe we've just done this. We turned it around in 6 weeks. Weird.
I'm incredibly envious of that, because I've tried to sell my house a number of times.
Get me involved.
I'm still waiting. But I think that's a hell of a lot. Like they they describe selling and moving as one of the most stressful things you can do. You're also signing online for a new shop.
But again, challenge.
You're not against that, are you?
Love a challenge.
Yeah. Okay. That's incredible. What did you ever think about calling it Man Shop? Just because you described it as a man shop a couple of times. I think it could work. If you ever want to rebrand or set up another one.
Well, randomly, it did have a different name.
What can you share what it was?
It was something to do with Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy. So there was something in that that we were going with. And I think we were going with Soldier, Spy. And then we went to a trade show and we were placing orders in the middle of the trade show. And I went to Jay, it's wrong.
Right.
He's like, what? I was like, it's wrong. I said, it's not rolling.
Yeah.
I don't like it. And we sat on this little bench. I was like, I feel like it needs to have a number in it to link it to store 33. There's got to be something there. And we both looked at each other and we was like, how far away is it?
How I've not connected the dots. I mean, this is why I've got you on, so I can find this out. But I was just about to say, so that's
it's 110 yards from store 33.
I love that. Okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, well, tell me then, why is store 33 called store 33?
33 Elm Road.
For God's sake, it sounds so obvious when you say that out loud.
Yes.
Okay, well, it's nice to uncover the connections. Why? I think you've alluded to the answer already, because I was going to talk about why was it important to have separate spaces? So to have a menswear or a man shop, and to have store 33 as a woman's space. So why is that important?
I think I couldn't do it properly in store 33, and I was never going to give up store 33. So I think I just needed that other unit. Plus, like you say, I felt like I needed to do something from scratch. I needed to build something up and make it exactly how I visualised it. So that's why. So,
and did that experience give you what you wanted from it?
Absolutely. Yeah, it really did. I remember doing it and like stripping the floor back. It hadn't been touched for years. It was black, gross. And Jamie spent like days sanding the floor, and it's beautiful parquet.
What is Jamie's trade?
He's a chippy, but kind of a shop fitter.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but...
Not bad to be associated with.
We don't get anything done at home. It's one of those.
The shops are great.
Shops look great.
IKEA's looking good, but home kind of gets deprioritised, right? Yeah. Okay, no, I understand that. You need those separate spaces to really make them your own. If you've got the opportunity, then fantastic. So that's 2019.
Yeah.
Okay. 2020.
Shut down.
So we've got COVID coming up and lockdowns coming up in conversation again. It's still it feels the chronology and how long ago this was is so foggy for so many people. It feels like it's so much longer ago than 5 years, but also it's yesterday for so many people in so many ways.
And we're still paying the price for it.
Yeah.
You still constantly kind of refer back to it because it was such a weird time.
A weird time is a good way to describe it. And everyone's lived experience was so different. So it's really hard when we're going to talk about this, because I don't want to generalise, because I have a shared experience, and I've mentioned this to you, that you had at least the first part of lockdown. Tell me what your experience of the first part of lockdown was.
The first part, so initially I remember sitting in my shop kind of on the Saturday, I think, Friday, Saturday, and older people being told like they were vulnerable and don't go out. And I remember an older lady coming into the shop and buying something. She needed to buy a gift. And I felt so tremendously guilty that I was there.
Right.
I was like, if I wasn't here...
You've enabled that.
I've enabled you to come here. And I remember leaving on the Saturday and saying to Jamie, we're closing. I feel too responsible. I feel too guilty. And, it's costing me more to be open than to not. So I feel like we shouldn't open on Monday. And that's then they made the announcement.
Right.
Again, really difficult, obviously, for everybody. But then looking around me and going, this is great. I've never had this time off. I didn't have maternity leave. I went back to work within like 4 weeks, I think. And I was like, let's spend some time together. Let's get to know each other, like really, and have some fun. And we absolutely did. It was
How old were the kids
weird.
at this time?
Oh, God. I don't know.
I mean, it's not a test. Don't worry. You can make it up.
Yeah, I'm rubbish at maths.
They won't listen.
I don't know. Ida was year 2.
Okay, yeah.
So Ned was year 5.
Right, so both at junior school. then?
Both at junior school. A really kind of time where I was like, the weather was amazing. Let's make pizza. Let's cut down trees. Let's paint bedrooms. Let's do gardening. Yeah, just amazing.
When I came into the shop, I was talking to you about my experience kind of very much in parallel, despite having, for myself, I'd only set my business up for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then I remember sitting on the sofa watching Boris say everyone needs to shut up shop and there's going to be this lockdown, and I cried because I was fearful for, like most people were.
Yep.
You don't know how long this is going to go on for. For me as a young business, I was like, I've just started. I've been kneecapped now. How the hell am I going to go on? But very quickly, it turned into this moment where my son was, there you go, put myself on the spot, 1-ish. And I had 2 weeks paternity leave with my son, and half of that was spent in hospital. And then once I overcame the fact that, okay, the business was at risk to a degree, but there was no comparison. We weren't looking at people on Instagram going on holidays and having these lives that you kind of coveted. Everyone was in the same boat.
It was so refreshing.
Yeah, everyone was documenting their hour outside.
Yeah. I mean, awful. I remember Jamie going shopping and that was horrible. But man, we bought a lot of booze.
Alcohol did seem to help. It just took the edge off.
It really did. It was kind of like this long holiday of something we'd never, ever had. And we were like, oh, okay, this is the kind of something that's been taken, the control was taken away. Every piece of control was taken away. And all you had was your four walls and the family around you.
Yeah.
Of course, I was worried about my parents and my family members and, but Zooming and quizzing and phone calls and...
Wasn't the Christmas where you weren't allowed to see people? This again, I'm going to caveat all of this is my experience, and for a select few of my friends, being your little family unit and not necessarily needing to be part of a bigger extended family. I just found it really nice for that one Christmas.
For one Christmas, sorry, Mum. Yes, it really was.
Yeah.
It was really quite special.
Yeah.
We didn't want to do it again the following year.
No.
We were absolutely not.
The novelty would have worn off very quickly if it was a consecutive thing.
Yeah, but that Christmas was, just strange to not have to rush anywhere, not have to go anywhere, not have to do anything that you feel like you normally have to tick all of the boxes.
Yeah, all of the responsibilities.
Even when we went
obligations.
into lockdown, actually, that was just like Ned's birthday. I remember I always fly by the seat of my pants a little bit. I'm always a little bit late on that kind of thing, ordering things, going, oh my God, this is really weird. I can't pop out and get what I should be getting. And just ordering toys. And
I do feel like it's important as well to just caveat all of this with everyone has their own experience of lockdown.
Yes.
And for some people, nowhere near as fortunate, and definitely didn't share the rose tinted glasses that I can look at parts of that through.
Yes, and definitely only parts of it, because it changed a lot going forward. Well,
talk to me about homeschooling, because at that age I had a kid that wasn't at school. So
never again. Please, teachers, take my hat off to you. No, never again. It was painful. It was vile. Ned was in year 6. I think at that point, so he should have been having so much fun and was losing out on a lot.
Period for him. Yeah.
Ida had been flagged in year 2 as having holes in her learning. We didn't know at that point that she was dyslexic.
Right.
So homeschooling was awful. Ned used to get his work, and his teacher at the time was absolutely amazing. They used to have a lunchtime quiz. He'd smash out his work super quickly and then be on the PlayStation all day. No problem at all. Ida, I used to have to sit with from 9 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock. And then we would close her books, and then I would open my laptop and do what I needed to do. But until I'd made that decision that this is the way we're going with it, by God, it was an awful household to be in.
Yeah, the reality of having to do that with
the frustration, I think, of trying to, have a child that you didn't realise needed so much help because your other one has always flown through it. That realisation and not really understanding why, and then having work in your ear at the same time and trying to Because at that point it was very stressful and trying to build your business back up and tick all of the boxes. So yeah, that was a really frustrating, horrible time.
I'm going to say the phrase parent guilt, because that's going to be rife during that whole period. And how navigating that must have been one of the biggest challenges, especially when you're trying to help your business recover, as you say, you get back.
And then there were days where like it'd be like, pack up your schoolwork, we're going into the shop, you know, and I've got pictures of the shop all laid out, a massive table in the middle that was stripped completely of any stock, and them two sat there doing their work, like just paper and pens and paints and doing what they needed to do, and me trying to pack up orders and bags all like along, because
just make it work anyway.
People coming knocking on the door or us going delivering. It was a very different way of life.
Well, for you to have been running, 2 retail stores now in Leigh, I just think it's such an amazing thing. I do want to ask you about your thoughts on the future of high streets, because you say you're very passionate about bricks and mortar. And specifically independent stores too. But what are your thoughts on the future of the high street? Because we're talking now after a really difficult period of time, during a really difficult period of time. And I'm saying this from a position of ignorance, as I often do, because I don't work in your world. But what are your thoughts? I guess what needs to change as well to ensure that businesses are thriving? I
think they'll come kind of full circle again at some point, but we're in a hole at the moment where there are youngsters out there, kind of the 20-odds, I suppose. They don't know how to shop. They've never really been to bricks and mortar shops. They don't really know how to get inspiration in that way, because they're used to flicking online and they're used to seeing like an absolute plethora of choice, and then they walk into a shop and they haven't got that choice because you can't have everything that's online there. But it's trying to teach them about the inspiration of buying. Now, I think maybe that's changed slightly with kind of the TikTok and Instagram, in that they want to kind of, you can put an outfit together for people and you can inspire them. But it's so much harder now. So much harder. It's
really interesting, because I didn't know we were going to go down this route, because what you're saying is essentially the buying habits of the next generation of people coming through have changed
a lot.
And I thought we might go down the route of talking about business rates and all of these things and less investment in local areas and communities, but which I guess does play a part.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But it's interesting to know that it's your first take on that was more the buying habits of the people that would have usually made up a staple demographic coming in. And
I think because I look a little bit deeper, because maybe rent, obviously, I don't have much control over. Rates, all of those bits, we don't have that much control over it. We can shout and scream as much as we like, but who gets listened to? Who knows? Kind of, it's all out there. It's higher than us. So I have to look at what is tangible and what I can change.
You are such a pragmatist. I absolutely love it. I think, and I mean that as a real compliment, but you can zoom out and look at it and think, okay, well, what's within my sphere of control, my area of control?
Yep.
And you can compartmentalize that.
Yeah.
Is it as easy as you're making it sound, though?
Probably not.
But you're making it sound really easy. You're very composed when you're saying it. I'm listening to that and I'm thinking, okay, well, it's a really good way. I mean, again, we're talking about what's the secret to running 17 years. You say you've got to love what you do. That's one thing, but you've also got to be good at it. And one of those skills might just be your ability to zoom out and think, well, what can I change?
What can I change? What can I do? How can I adapt? And you do have to adapt, but I also think be true to yourself. There's no point in kind of following the next person all of the time and chasing what the person around the corner is doing.
Keeping up with the Joneses in a way.
Absolutely. There's no point in that. My business is my business. And of course I'll get inspiration from other stores or other places, but I don't worry about what anybody else in Leigh is doing. That's their ball game.
Yeah.
And this is my ball game. And the hope is that because we've all got our own, that we build a really lovely town for people to come to, as long as there's lots on offer. And that's what I'll always say. When the local merchant boys came into me and they were like, oh, we're opening and we're not stepping on toes. And I was like, no, the more the merrier. You know, competition is great. What you need in a town is more stores. As long as you all stay in your lane and do what you believe that you should be doing, then we have got a blooming great town.
Yeah.
A really great town that there's not many places like ours with that many independents in it.
Yeah. It's definitely when the podcast was based on seasons rather than this continuous run that we've been on of late. Season 2 was all about what made Leigh C and the community here special.
Yeah.
And Charlotte, who was one of the instigators in us speaking now, so I have to thank her for the introduction and for a bit of arm twisting. But she was talking, collaboration, I think, is such a key part of what is around it too.
It is.
It doesn't always mean that you have to work together.
No. But I remember there being a part of kind of when Instagram like became big and it was like, oh, you've got to collaborate. And I was like, oh my good God. I just, you know, again, my little kind of box that was barriers up.
Yeah. Here's my walls, quick.
A little bit scary. But I think I've opened myself up a little bit more now. And when I say about the IKEA world, which I loved being part of a team, maybe I look at Leigh as being part of the team now. I kind of have that bigger outlook of, I know what everybody's doing. I know what they want to do, I feel like we've all got each other's backs.
It definitely feels like that in general.
Yeah.
I have to say, in general.
In general, yeah.
I'm going to ask you for some advice now.
Okay.
What advice would you give someone that wants to launch their own store? It's going to be as broad a question as that. It doesn't have to be in Leigh, but if they are thinking to themselves, I want to build and set up my own bricks and mortar premises, what is the one piece of advice?
I'd say find your lane and build on it. Don't look at what anybody else is doing. Be true to yourself. This is your style. This is what you wanted to do. Stick to it and have that as your plan. When we opened, I very quickly changed store 33 because it was a lot of handbags going on. I wasn't really a handbag girl at that point. And we went very quickly into the kind of Scandi market of homewares. And then super quickly had to pull back again. I felt Leigh wasn't ready for it.
Right.
They weren't ready for that very different kind of vibe. And strangely, it's kind of all back in very quickly now, and Leigh are very much ready for it. But yeah, it's kind of knowing what the market is doing, but being true to yourself.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I love a bit of free consultancy every now and again. I'm not looking to start a shop, but someone that's listening might be.
Maybe.
Do you want to play a game?
No.
Okay. I'll take that as a yes, even though you directly said no. We're going to play a game. I think you're going to like this one.
Okay.
So this is harking back to your days at IKEA.
Oh, go.
I love the reaction so far. It seems like you're really into it. We're going to play flat pack or flop. So I'm going to read you some names, and you're going to tell me if they were flat pack, as in a proper IKEA product. Yep. You know the game already.
I wish I had Jamie on my shoulder right now because he probably knows them all.
We could just try, it's fun. Or flop, which means they're completely made up. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I was toying with doing an accent. I think I'm just going to play it safe and say it as they're written. Blahage.
Flat pack.
It is flat pack. Do you know what it is?
No.
It's you can guess as well. It's a soft toy. It's a blue shark. Quite a famous product apparently for IKEA. I'm so tempted to do the accent and I need to stop myself.
No, please do it.
I can't. It feels like a lawsuit. Snorgle.
Spell it.
Snorgle.
Flop.
It is a flop. Oh, I've got to tick these as well. Malm. AL.
MALM.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a big flat pack.
That is a big flat pack. Do you know what it was?
It's a whole range, actually. There's beds, wardrobes.
Smashed it.
Everything.
You only get one tick, but you did smash it. Cot Bollar.
Spell it. KOTTBOLLAR. Flop.
Do you know what is a flop? It's actually meatballs. So it's not a piece of furniture. Sold it at IKEA, but you get a tick for that. Gromsk.
Flop.
Spelt as it sounds.
Flop.
It is a flop. Oh my God, you're doing 100% so far. Poang.
That's flat pack.
It is flat pack. Do you remember what it was?
Yes, chair.
Torlek.
Spell it.
Torlek.
Flat pack.
Do you know what? It's flop from what I've said here. So it's your first incorrect one. You're not competitive though.
No, not at all.
Okay, good. Lack.
That's flat pack.
That is flat pack. See, you don't need. Why do you need Jamie? You're doing it all on your own. Do you know what it was?
It's a shelf.
It was, yeah.
Floating shelf.
Said table as well.
Yes.
According to Google.
Yeah.
Flop. I've so tipped the accent and it came flop. F-L-A-R-P.
Flat pack.
It is flat pack. Do you know what it is?
No.
You've just gone 50-50 on that.
Yeah.
Plastic storage boxes.
Oh.
We're going to make this the last one. Valdom spanner.
Spell it.
Just spell it. We'll be here for another hour.
I know.
V-A-R-L-D-O-M-S-P-A-N-N-A. Valdom spanner.
That's a flop.
It is a flop. Yeah. I think it was my face after a while. I couldn't keep that going. You got 9 out of 10.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yay.
I really didn't know the way that game was going to go, but I thought we'd make it IKEA themed.
Amazing.
We've got a closing tradition on the podcast.
Yep.
Do you know what's coming?
No.
That's fine. Thank you for being honest.
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah. So
Yes, I do.
This is Mum's question.
Oh, wow.
Right. So I have to find the right WhatsApp voice note. Let me just do that quickly.
Hi Claire, do you have a particular person or group of people in mind when you're buying clothes for your shops? Thank you.
Absolutely do.
You do?
Yeah.
Who?
Not. Sometimes it's a particular person, but you can definitely kind of, which customer, when you buy a brand or buy a certain range, you'll go, I've got an eye on who I think will buy that, and that.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not store 33 or 110 yards has its own customer base all the time. It depends on a product. So you have to think about demographic, who might wear that individual thing.
Yeah, but I can kind of think when somebody comes in, I'm like, yeah, I know that you're going to buy that shirt that I bought with you in mind.
Right.
Yes, I can do
Because
that.
I loved that on your form as well. You said, I can't remember it word for word, but I think the sentiment was you buy things that people want to buy, or create spaces where people will want to buy them.
So
right?
I buy what I think you're going to like.
Yeah.
And then I put it in a space that makes you want to buy everything.
Thank you for articulating that far better than I ever could. That was amazing. Thank you so much. You have been an absolute pleasure. And I think, again, just to congratulate you on 17 years
Thank you.
is just a huge achievement. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story.
Thank you for twisting my arm.
No worries at all. No. Well done, Claire. That was brilliant. That was so good. If you have enjoyed this week's episode, you can check out our vast back catalogue by clicking here or here to see some of the previous guests we've had on.